Howdy folks, Timber Drifter here. Out in the shed, puffing on this meerschaum I've had since 2004. It was a gift from my mother. I didn't smoke it much for a number of years. It was kind of a special occasion, Christmas Day kind of a pipe. But then for a number of years I smoked it a lot. And the draw was always a little bit tight on it. But these days I don't smoke it much in the last year because the nylon fittings have gotten all buggered up from cleaning. Being scratched up by pipe cleaners and things like that. So until I figure out how to replace those, I won't be smoking this too regularly. But I gather there's some kind of meerschaum March Madness type of situation happening, so I thought I'd join briefly. Yeah, so I think it was a couple of weeks ago, early in the morning, watching a video from Joshua in the woods, and he was talking about making a mixture of, the names escape me, Carter Hall and Pirate Cake. And he decided to call it Sacred Land Mixture. And I commented on the video how I thought I could see where that would be a good mix, and I'd like to try that and might mix some up. And I've got some Pirate Cake right here. But common as it is, I don't find Carter Hall here at all in this area of Kansas. So anyway, I commented and walked out of my room and was handed an envelope with Joshua's name on it. Open it up and there is a sample of Sacred Land Mixture. Boom, just like that. Watch the video, comment, walk out of my room. Here it is. I wasn't expecting a package. He didn't contact me and ask me for my address, so I know any other brothers out there hooked him up. But it had kind of I will say I was taken aback. I was shocked. So whether you meant to do it that way or not, Joshua, that was well orchestrated. You got me. And I do like the Sacred Land Mixture. Little bourbon and ginger ale. Don't worry, I'm not polluting a high quality bourbon with ginger ale. So also in that was one that I haven't tried yet, which is Samuel Gawith Black Double X, which is a real old school tobacco. I'll get around to it. I just haven't been in the mood. And a blend from Ronnie's Place, Christmas Mixture, or Christmas Blend 2015. I have never thought that I'd be smoking a blend from Ronnie's Place. Seen it in videos, heard Bremen Pipe Smoker and Joshua in the Woods mention it, and I admit it's difficult for me to say Ronnie's Place without imitating Bremen Pipe Smoker's German accent, but I'll refrain from imitation. I mean, that's how I hear it in my head, you know. That's a great blend. I really enjoyed it. I have no idea what the flavoring is, but it's great. So yeah, the other blend that was in the package was McClellend 5110, which is an excellent English blend. Sadly discontinued, like all of their tobaccos. So thank you, Joshua. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for freaking me out. Yeah, McClellend, man. I use a phrase that the politicians are fond of. I am deeply saddened by the passing of McClellend Tobacco Company, and I mean that with all sincerity. I've often said McClellend is my favorite blender. Pretty much right from the start, really. I remember, late '90s, I guess, when I took up and the pipe smoking bug hit me. A friend and I who had already smoked some pipes, we were down in Oklahoma and we found this huge bookstore and we found a copy of a pipe smoking magazine, Pipes and Tobaccos. And I remember just eating that magazine, just cover to cover. Probably stared at the advertisements hundreds of times and read every article repeatedly. And honestly, I don't remember at this point if McClelland was one of the had several blends that were up for review at that time, or if they had an ad in the magazine, or what it was. But I remember finding out about that they were in Kansas City, only a couple hours away from where I lived, and it was this, well-respected tobacco house, and their tin art is just gorgeous. And I remember being, thinking that it was gorgeous back then. It's the whale leaping, or porpoising, I guess you'd say, with the moon in the background, surrounded by a wreath of tobacco leaves and a ribbon emblem at the bottom. It just seems so high class. And the first McClelland tobacco I ever smoked, being a Lord of the Rings fan, was Grey Havens. And I didn't really know what to make of it, back then. I remember smoking it and being like, whoa, that's a lot. That's a lot of flavors. Not ready to deal with that yet. Give me back my Black Cavendish. But as time progressed quickly, I was pretty into McClelland tobaccos. I tried a lot of other stuff too, back in the early days. What I could afford. And I think the first McClelland tobacco that I smoked that I really got into was Dark Star. I just remember the joy of buying a tin of that occasionally and cracking it and smelling it and preparing it. And those were the first real kind of flakes that I learned how to deal with. McClelland's sort of real tight, broken flakes. And St. James Woods and Virginia Woods, and I can't even think of all of the different blends and their aromatics as well. Christmas Cheer, of course. But McClelland was always, in the early years of my pipe smoking anyway, was always something kind of mysterious and special. And then it just sort of became a regular thing for me. And I sort of settled into a few blends, and I would occasionally try other things. I always enjoyed trying their Orientals, those green tins. But Bombay Court and Pebble Cut more recently were blends that I settled into. And I've been smoking Bombay Court, I believe, since 2004. At least 110 a year, and in the last 5 or 6 years, probably 5 or 6 tens a year, or if not more, always the big tens. And being a low income guy, I don't tend to have much on, in stock, so I really don't have much McClelland. In the cellar. And I had recently settled on Townsman Cavendish, the brandy flavor, which to me tastes like a really good quality version of Prince Albert, as my everyday smoke. And I think I've still got 6 or 7 ounces of it. But of course now it's not going to be an everyday smoke. And Pebble Cut. I used to smoke that when it was an Ashton blend, which I have found out since was made by McClellend during that time anyway. And I've got 110 of that unopened and a jar of it. And I think I'm pretty much out of Bombay Court. I had put an order in with one of the big online sellers. My card got charged. Supposedly there was a glitch in the system. I never got sent the tobacco. This was back in early February when I was getting a little scared that McClellend might be going out of business, and I figured I better buy what I could afford, which was 4 of the large 10s of Bombay Court. Long story short, I never got it. A lot of communication back and forth, and of course they're out of stock now. But they've refunded me my money as of today. So I was pretty pissed about that, but kind of letting it go. Just like letting McClellend go. I don't really expect to come across too much more of their tobacco, but I will appreciate all that I have smoked and the joy that I have experienced over the years with McClellend tobacco. I really can't think of anything else, any other blends that I have taken so much pleasure in smoking. And what, Matches 860, I think, I don't remember his terminology exactly, but I think it's the ultimate smoke. I've had more ultimate smokes with McClellend tobaccos than any others. So I will smoke up the rest of that 5110. I will probably save that 10 of Pebble Cut. Who knows how long. But I'll be moving on and looking for other things to stock up on, because I think the golden age of pipe tobacco may be, if not coming to an end, which I don't think it is, but I think we've passed the middle part and we're heading back down. And it's not just the FDA regulations, which some folks are of the opinion that it doesn't really have much of effect. Some people think it does. A lot of it has to do with the reasons McClellend listed for closing is they can't find the leaf. Maybe I'll get some skinny jeans and take up vaping. Yeah, right. But I am looking for, other than, I love, there's some C&D blends, bulk blends that I really love. And some of their 10s I'll be stocking up on, but I'm also pretty fond of Rattrays and Gauth and Hogarth, so I'll probably be as I can afford it, stocking up on those. Whatever else takes my fancy. Sorry to have missed the boat on McClellend. But man, all the years of those wonderful Virginias and Orientals. Probably never see their like again. So, after I close this video, I'm going to have a moment of silence for McClellend tobaccos while I smoke the last of this bowl of 5110 and finish my glass of whiskey here in the shed. Happiness is a warm pipe and wood shavings and a glass of whiskey. Y'all take care. Get outside.